Hello everyone. We have a bit of a science experiment to do today. It's some crystal growing. It says Magic Growing Garden. I got this set when I was in England at one of those curiosity shops, and I've been saving it until now. So we have this little landscape. It looks like a mountain and some trees and flowers and grass. And we set it up, and then crystals are supposed to grow from it as the water evaporates. And it has lots of warnings. Which sounds kind of exciting. Let's see what we got here. Okay. We have the instructions. We have, it looks like 3 or 4 little bags of water or some sort of. It says contains potassium phosphate. We have some paper cutouts. Then we have a tray here. It's kind of a green color. So 4 major components. It says first of all, looks like we put the mountain together, kind of slip some notches into some tabs. Then we put the trees together, and then we have these little spiky grass things. Okay, so the mountain goes back here, the trees go on either side, and then the grass kind of sits in these little grooves. And we put packet number 1 on the mountain, packet number 2 on the trees, and packet number 3 on the grass. It says, in case of eye contact, wash out eyes with plenty of water, holding eyes open if necessary. Seek immediate medical advice. If swallowed, wash out mouth with water. Drink some fresh water. Do not induce vomiting. Seek immediate medical advice. In case of inhalation, please remove the person to fresh air. I wonder if this will stink. I don't know. In case of skin contact and burns, wash affected area with plenty of water for at least 10 minutes. In case of doubt, seek medical advice without delay. Take the chemical and its containers with you. So, we may get a strong case of doubt from this stuff. Read and follow the instructions. Incorrect use of the chemicals can cause injury. This experimental set is for use only by children over 10 years old. Supervising adults should discuss the warnings and safety information. The area surrounding the experiment should be kept clear of any obstructions and away from the storage of food. It should be well lit and ventilated and close to a water supply. Wow. Sounds pretty scary. Okay. So we're just going to make sure we take care. I have some paper towels here, and there is a sink nearby if I need it. So I assume that this is the potent stuff. And this is just basically a paper with dye that is going to give the potent stuff its coloring. If I had to guess anything, that's what I would guess. And I have some plastic down here instead of my towel to hopefully mitigate any spills. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, it's like a kind of like a stiff cardboard or poster board, I guess. Cardboard maybe too stiff. So we have one of these. We have a short one. We have some very short ones. We have a short one with some red spikes. And these look like our trees. And our mountain. And it looks like we're, wait a minute. Okay, good. Those were stuck together. So these slip in like this. I don't want to tear them up. Okay. So there's one tree. It sits in there. It's kind of a tight fit. It keeps wanting to pop out. Okay. Let's put in our next tree. Don't want to bend the cardboard. That might weaken the structure of it. Okay. There's our other tree. And here we have a mountain. It's got some pre-folded lines here. Fold this around. And our slots are right here. Okay. So this looks like it's supposed to fit right in here. Something like that, I suppose. Let's move our trees out of the way. This is a very finely balanced ecosystem, I suspect. Okay. Well, it looks like this is supposed to be the flat side. And this is supposed to be the round side. Definitely wanting to pop out of place. Stay down there. Very precarious. Okay. Yeah. As I was saying. I wonder if that's, we've been that inward. That doesn't look right. I think that mountain may come out a few more times. Okay, now this gets pushed out by the mountain. Okay, let's figure out one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I guess something like this. Those kind of just sit in there like that. I wonder if we can bend that down. Well, then we won't have a complete cover. I'm glad it's just paper. Maybe this is supposed to go this way. They don't give very many instructions. Okay. That fits nicely there. So now, do we bend this? Or can we tear it? Suppose we could tear it right along the edge. And that'll give us this here. Wonder how much this paper expands when it gets wet. Wonder if that'll help it set up. There we go. Put a little bend in it. A little back and forth motion is all you need. Okay. Do the same thing here. Good. Looks like shark teeth. Okay. I'm going to tear that one right here. And we're going to tear that one right there. That should work pretty well. Almost looks natural. Almost. I'm going to put a little bit more here. Kind of wedge that in there. Try to keep that behaving. Okay. So there's the grass and flowers and whatever. Now, I may have to hold my mountain down with some tape. Does not seem to be the type of thing you can bump very easily. My mountain wants to, if this cutout wasn't here, this is where a lot of the pressure comes to hold it in. And it's actually cut out higher, so it actually wants to pop out more easily. If I can do that. Just need to provide some tension. Okay, there we go. And then our trees. Trees that don't want to stay in. There we go. Okay. It's looking rather idyllic already. So here is the chemical solution. We have grass, we have trees, another tree, and the mountain. So I'm going to cut just a very small little place out of there and then pour in. I'm going to start with the mountain, do the grass, and then the trees last. I think that'll work best. So first, let's open up this one. Just a little corner cut out of it. And very carefully pour all around the base of the mountain. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Next is the grass. Again, cut off just a little triangle. And this has some little pools where we can pour it into. It does swell up a little bit, that's nice. Make sure it's all distributed equally as much as possible. Let's pour some here. Looks like it's soaking up pretty well. Okay. I don't notice any distinct smell. or anything like that. So that's nice at least. And now we'll do the trees. They've got a long way to soak up, so you've got this whole reservoir here. I may add some later as that soaks up some. And then finally, this one right here. It gets absorbed pretty well. I can see it actually moving up the mountain there. Okay. So now it says, watch the crystal grow in hours. So I imagine it'll be a little bit of time before we see anything. But what I'm going to do is take periodic shots, hopefully kind of like a time lapse. Soak up all of this extra here. So that you guys can watch the excitement of the crystals growing. So that'll be the experiment part of this. Can I pull off a neat little time lapse? And I may actually reposition the camera so that it faces the front of it like a little tableau. And I don't know if I'm supposed to spread these out like branches. Look here on the box, I don't think you're supposed to. It looks like they're just solid clumps. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, you're supposed to spread them out at least a little bit. Okay. That was not mentioned in the instructions. But I imagine that would definitely give it more of a tree-like shape. So let's do these now. Make our tree look a little three-dimensional. Little happy trees. Okay. It's kind of haphazard enough, I guess. Just kind of bend them every which way. It's getting kind of soggy. Got to be careful. I don't want to tear the whole thing up. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave that to soak up the solution. And I will set the camera up a little bit differently. And I will be right back. And you'll get to see the miracle of science. So here I've set up the camera on a little bit of a different angle so that you can see a time lapse of the crystals growing. So it jerks a little bit back and forth, but what I did is just continually set the camera recording the video, and then I just compressed it all down. The original recording, I think, was probably about 5 hours. I did it in 15-minute chunks and just kept coming back and replacing the battery when I needed to. So it's not a complete seamless transition. There's a few little gaps in the timeline, but not very much. But I thought it was pretty neat that you can see the crystals growing pretty much right before your eyes. I took that 5 hours and compressed it down into this about 2-minute clip. So if you're standing there and watching it, you're not seeing anything happen. But if you walk away and come back, you can definitely tell the progress of the growth. And it started pretty quickly. I would say things started showing up on the trees within 10 minutes of me pouring the water over the mountain and filling up the little reservoirs around the grass. So it was kind of neat to have that immediate of a result. It wasn't so slow that you had to wait several days. It probably completed, all told, overnight. But you could start seeing things happen right away. So at this point in time, I'm about to run out of battery. I kept switching back and forth, but the batteries weren't charging up quick enough to have a full charge. But it gives you a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. So this is the next morning from the time lapse that you just saw. You can see it's progressed quite a bit since then. But I was running out of battery, so I couldn't continue the time lapse. But this is pretty neat. The mountain's a little kind of strange. I think it could have used a little more water, maybe. But you can see where the crystals have formed. They're squishy. If I wanted to crush them, I could. But I don't think I want to do that. So we have, the trees have really done really well. I think spreading out those branches really helped. And you have this little garden area here. The yellow and the green. And it looks like some of the colors bled into each other when they touched. Oops. Those are really delicate. And so we have kind of a greenish yellow here. That would have been interesting to try to make them bleed a little bit more and see what other kinds of colors you could get. So I think this turned out pretty well. I don't want to do much more to it as far as like moving things around. I think it will collapse. It's very, very delicate. But this was fun. I'm glad I got this little project. Kind of a neat, I don't know if you'd call it an experiment, really. We weren't really trying to find out anything. We were just watching a chemical process happen. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I am going to look out and see if I can find some other kind of stuff like this. Kind of enjoyed making the time lapse. It's kind of a neat process. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.